Hey, hello everybody. Thanks for coming to this week's video blog right here at the California Realty Training YouTube channel. Glad you made it because today we have a very special guest. A great guest, man. We have Miss Diane Brito. Miss Diane Brito manages an incredible, successful real estate brokerage right here in West Los Angeles. She motivates seasoned realtors so that they can continue with their successes in real estate. And last but not least, she molds brand new agents so that their careers can take off immediately. Listen, she's gonna give us some great tips, some great tricks, some great opinions, some great advice. Don't miss this one, man. You'll regret it. See you soon. Yeah, it's really good to see you, man. Thanks for coming here. We appreciate it.
It's great to see you too.
Yeah.
Glad to be back.
What we want you to do is we want you to share your experience, your expertise with the entire world. The real estate world needs leaders like you. Your expertise, your opinion, your thoughts, and how to get from A to B, from B to C, wherever you're at, we want to take you to the next level.
All I can say is I appreciate that introduction, and I'm hoping it's being recorded because we can certainly use that. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate the fact that we're going to talk about how are we really going to help our new agents get into production.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now let's start off with this. I and you both, we both know the importance of teamwork, the importance of having the right support cast around you, how important that is. But before that, a lot of these steps are solo steps. You have to pass a state exam. You have to possibly take a crash course. Now, speaking of crash course, you're one of our best crash course instructors here at California Realty Training. How important is it for somebody to take a crash course prior to taking their state exam so that they can start off on the right foot?
I happen to be one of your crash course instructors, and the most recent example I'll give is this weekend, particularly in a pandemic. The crash course is important because by the time you finish your 3 modules, there's a lot of information, and it can be overwhelming. The crash course narrows down those questions that are going to be on your state exam that make them applicable to your memory, right? So the crash course, even though it's intense, and a lot of people say, well, it's a weekend with extra confidence doesn't even compare when you get that license and they say pass. So it's definitely worth the investment. And plus you get to meet a lot of interesting people as well.
So do you highly recommend a crash course?
I highly recommend the crash course. It's a wealth of information. I still, I love to tell my stories. They're actual stories in real estate. Sometimes the questions on the real estate exam can be a little confusing. When you have an affiliation to remember it, it makes it a lot easier. So yes, definitely. It's a process, but it's also retention. And that's what it's all about, is retention.
Now your crash course, I've seen it before. Aside from education, you guys actually have fun there. You guys discuss a few things aside from real estate, experiences you've had. You give them motivation, you give them confidence, you give them that extra oomph that they need to go in there confident when they take the state exam. Can you talk about that for a second?
Absolutely. So my story, and everyone that knows me, it's taken my class, I tell the stories of what really happens in real estate from list to close. There are so many things that can go right or wrong, or basically even neutral. So with the crash course exam, they're getting real stories. Example, if we're covering how to define what type of appraisal to do for, let's say, a building, the stories that are most applied is you're not going to do the same appraisal as you would for a commercial as you would for residential, right? Or a fixture for a property. If it's fixture, then it's attached to the ceiling. I wouldn't recommend ripping it down from the wall. Your buyers and sellers might not be too happy about that.
Yeah.
So it's those type of stories.
Now let's talk about somebody who's passed the state exam and they're excited as heck because they want to start their career. They want to join a brokerage. They have no idea where to start. What should they look for?
We cover that too towards the end.
Yeah.
Even though I am in leadership with Keller Williams, my commitment and my personal goal is to make sure that once you get your license, now there are some of you that, or some of our students that will use their license for a referral purpose, but most of the time it's because they actually want to get into the industry. When choosing a broker, keep it simple. Who is going to train you? Who is going to give you time, one-on-one, answer your questions so that you feel that you're not alone wandering in the wilderness? Not only is it not encouragement, it's it can be very frustrating because we are in an industry that is governed by law, right? So we have to make sure that they're being trained properly. Choosing a brokerage, training number one, most importantly, number two, the support. And what type of industry do you want to be in? What is your crew? It's family. Choose a brokerage that you will feel comfortable being a part of, because that's important.
You want to find a broker that's supportive, of course. At the end of the day, though, it all comes down to your individual performance. How bad do you want this? Let's just cut to the chase. How bad does a realtor want to succeed? And one of the first decisions they have to make is, do I join a team or do I do this on my own? Do I join a team or do I go solo? And that's crucial to somebody's career. Can you explain how that works? Should somebody join a team or should they go ahead and try to make it solo in a real estate career?
That is an amazing question. Number one, to join a team or to go solo. Personal preference. You need to identify what really does a team mean. In Keller Williams, we have a certain system and model that defines a team. To go solo is exactly that. Why my students are successful is we have a little bit of both. You are a 1099. Basically, you're independent to choose. So if you want to be a part of a team, then everything is equitably split, if you will. And that could be good or bad. So it depends on, again, whether you want to be around people that to share in the beginning. If you want to be solo, you can do that too. Going back to my training, be solo, but know what you're doing. Some people join teams, they think they're going to learn quicker and faster. Not necessarily the case. You need to have good leadership and support so that you're able to implement systems and models on how to close your transaction. So that would be my answer to that.
Now, who would be a good candidate, say, for a team, and who would be a good candidate, say, to go solo? Do you have to have a certain personality that would fit you under the solo category or under the team category? I personally believe somebody who's shy and not quite confident enough might benefit from a team, something like that. So are there personalities that would fit under the team category or the solo category?
From my perspective, having many, many decades in staffing, that's actually what I did for a living. So it has come in handy here, or more effective. Typically, the answer would be yes. If you are used to being in more of an accounting industry and you're in a room, not that a lot of us are in rooms now because we're under a pandemic, if you're used to working independently, a lot of people don't like people. I would say number one, challenge yourself. Get out of your bubble. Do something that ruffles your feathers and doesn't make you feel as comfortable. So if you're used to a team, go solo. And if you're used to being solo, join a team. That way you get both the best worlds. You're really not going to know until you're in it. When you're in it, you'll know. If you get the warm and fuzzy, stay in the environment. You'll know. You'll be able to identify it once you're up and running.
Now, once these new realtors are excited and they're motivated, and once they taste a bit of success, whether the team or solo, you've come up with a program now which is called the Rookie All-Stars.
I actually call them I call them a lot, but mainly it is my Rockin' Rookie All-Stars.
Can you share with us what that entails?
Absolutely.
Because it sounds so damn exciting. It sounds, you know what, this career changed my life. And I think it can change the life of many who need a change in their life. And you put yourself to where you're ready to help them. You're ready to put them on that path to success. How are you doing it?
It started back when we first had our conversation last year. It was 2 weeks in, I think.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember too. Scary times. We were 3 weeks into the pandemic. We talked about where the real estate was going and whether or not it was going to shift or where would we be. And I believe I said, let me come back to you next year because we're going to crush it. So here we are, a year later, crushing it. What I have done is implemented basic human thoughts and process of caring, having a conversation. We have created not only one-on-ones, we have a team. I run a mastermind on Wednesdays. So when you get your license and you join, we go through the process, you have your systems and models. But you also know you're going to be in the environment of at least 51 to 60 now, I don't really know what it's up against, agents that are under a year in the industry. It's so much easier when you have a common denominator. You're all learning pretty much at the same pace, right? If you are in high school, you don't want to jump into a college senior class. Some of you are gifted like that, but most time you want to learn. You don't want to learn too much, but yet you don't want to learn too little. So what I've created is an environment where everyone open forum, where they tell what they're going through per transaction. And by the way, we're doing a lot of transactions. It started last September. We're averaging about 1.8 million in sales a week. And these are my rookies.
So let's go back to last September. You just mentioned last September. That's just 5 months ago, give or take, that you're opening with your rookie all-stars, rookie rock stars, 1.8 million per week in sales. That's incredible.
It's phenomenal. It's record-breaking is what it is.
Yeah, so let's put that into perspective. Let's call it, for the math's sake, $2 million a week, 4 weeks a month. You're looking at roughly $8 million a month of sales, which is like, wow, for somebody who's new to this industry.
Under 6 months in.
Under 6 months.
Somewhere in the third weekend.
Right. Let's go into this. How are you keeping these new realtors motivated? I'm assuming most of them come into a brand new career hesitant, scared, excited, nervous. I mean, all emotions run
All
through.
the above.
How do you lead them? I mean, what a great leader. How do you lead them to stay focused and make things happen? How do you do that?
I lead them because I've already been down that path. Going back to the last conversation, the last time I saw you, coming from corporate America, getting my real estate license, I already had knowledge, I had education, I was very successful. Then I decided to switch careers. So the number one lead for me is have a conversation of where each individual is at. You put them in a group. There are power in numbers. How I relate it to is the background of a lion, right? Think about it. A lion can stand on their own. They really don't need anyone to have their back. You put them in a pack and there's no stopping them. That's what we've done. So yes, I lead the pack. From what I know, I was told my first year I would sell 1 to 2 houses. Do you remember how many homes I sold in my first year?
I do. You care to share again?
90 plus.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was about 100.
90 plus, give or take.
Yeah.
Give or take. That's a lot of homes. And we didn't have social networking, platforms, Zillow, Redfin, working remotely. Everything is tech. So the capturing of learning the industry is actually nonstop because they're doing it through the own people that they know. So at the end of the day, they are focused, meaning the students are focused. They just have the tools from each other too. Now I will say this, most of them are within the people that they know, right? How do we start? Where do I start? Last year, start from your phone. Everybody that you know, start from your phone. I typically break it down into 3 categories. There's those individuals that you have a relationship with. It's like knowing your social security number. You know it. The second category would be those that are more of an introductory, maybe platonic relationship that you're comfortable calling. And then you're going to have your third list of maybe your referral. Right then you're looking at minimal 20 or 30. And that's where you begin.
Now you showed them this. You let them know that their skill set has to grow. They have to have the skill set of talking to people, the skill set of talking to their sphere of influence, all the skill sets entailed in their real estate career. But I want to go one step further, Diane. You're very good at hitting somebody right in the soul, shaking them up and saying, you can do this. A lot of people have a skill set in whatever, say a mechanic, or we all have a skill set. We know how to run, but we don't run. Jog, exercise, we know how to do it, but a lot of us just don't do it. How do you get somebody to do something that they don't want to do, knowing it has to be done to get to success? How do you shake somebody? How does Diane Brito shake somebody and say, come on, let's go?
It's a gift. We talked about this prior to our interview. And that is a skill set that most leaders, the good ones, will have. They break it down individually per agent or even per person, right? When you have that gift of true concern, you're able to discern between what is needed and what is difficult. Now you can't, remember the old saying, you can't drag a horse to water and make them drink?
Right.
I'm gonna take it a step further. You can if they see the vision on the other side of the lake. A lot of people can't see the vision because there's some type of blockage. Maybe it's mindset, maybe it's something that happened prior to becoming an agent. We are the ones that stand in our own way. When you make up your mindset that you're gonna go after it, then the world opens up, and then you start getting classes that help and people that care, and it's that first transaction. I have agents, as recent as this morning, 3 weeks in, he had waited for a bus advertisement. Everybody thought it was crazy. So those of you who are listening to this video, Brandon had just secured a bus advertising bench on the corner of La Cienega at Beverly Center, where most agents that have been in business for many, many years, they forgot to call. Brandon happened to be on the phone with the rep. The rep had to decide whether they wanted to give it to somebody that was really gonna pay cash right then. So Brandon gets it. He's gotten 4 leads today. As I'm doing this video, he's out taking a $6 million listing.
Wow, let's talk about $6 million listing. Again, just to put it in perspective, a $6 million listing in a balanced market, you would probably earn 3% commission on one side, just to put it in perspective. That's $180,000 of total commission. Broker takes his piece.
You take your piece.
You take your piece, which is give or take $140,000, $150,000.
And then don't forget to pay Uncle Sam.
Pay Uncle Sam, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for somebody who's brand new in this career, confident. Diane Brito put them on track to success. You've showed them the way. Of course, they have to go ahead and do the action, which to me is an amazing thing you're doing for these people who are brand new in this real estate career. Let me ask you something else. Those who are thinking about getting into a real estate career, should they worry about that? I mean, this is going to be their livelihood. And all they've seen on TV is people shutting down their business. Yet they want to have a whole new real estate career running their own business. What are your thoughts on that?
I have many thoughts on that because, again, I walked in those shoes. However, we are in the middle of a pandemic, so there's not really a playbook on what to do. But those watching that want to switch, this is what I say to you. If you have a desire to get your license, do not wait until tomorrow, because tomorrow will take care of itself. We don't know. We are surviving times that has never in the history of the world ever been seen. Live out your dream. Go get your license. Get the license, then give me a call. I'll be more than happy to coach you on what to do. I'm also really concentrated on that field. We have students that are full-time in other careers. A lot of brokerages, there is something I'd like to add. There are a lot of brokerages in the last couple of months that actually have chosen not to bring on new agents. Now that compelled me, and they're larger brokerage, maybe not as large as us. The fact that anyone else will limit someone because they're new, it just proves to justify what I'm saying. You may be new to real estate, but you are not new to life. A lot of the skills, like listening, paying attention to detail, following instruction, you do right now. The only difference is you're going to apply it to a property. So don't give up your dream on someone else's comment. I'm not one of those individuals that will ever leave this earth and say, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm doing it now. I'm living the dream.
Good. So bottom line, how can somebody make it during these times? Brand new agent just got their license yesterday. We're going through this pandemic. Things look like they're on the upswing. Things in the world now are looking better. What can you tell a brand new agent who's excited yet concerned? Because many of them are excited yet concerned. It's going to be okay. Go after it.
I say, be smart. We all need basic roof over our head, food on the table. Don't quit your full-time job. Take a leap of faith, but be careful on your choices. So if you remember last year, I had a business, right? And then I lost a business. So even though I took that leap of faith, it was a slow leap of faith. And then there is going to be a time when you're going to have to dive in. And a lot of times it's not the lack of the industry, it's the lack of or fear of the person's mindset. It's not the industry. Deals are still closing. we're up 18%.
Up 18%, which means, of course, real estate agents are still needed out in the world.
Every day.
My father used to tell me, as long as we have cars in the world, we're going to need mechanics. I say, as long as we have houses in the world, we're going to need real estate agents.
Especially now, like the needs are changing. We are in Los Angeles, love LA, and what we're dealing with or experiencing now is with the COVID situation, there's a lot of empty nesters when their siblings or their family members leave, right? The house has become too big, they're downsizing. And then you have the individuals that their houses are too small and they need larger properties. So yes, there's a need out there. And by the way, those people in Los Angeles that have had their property for the last 10 to 15 years, they are, effective yesterday, relocating to other states. I've been getting calls like from Utah, New York, Carolinas, and New Orleans of why are people or individuals in LA moving there and buying like 2-3 homes on the block.
Got it. Diane, we are in COVID right now. We're still in COVID. How can someone be resilient to this COVID pandemic we're going through? How can someone still make money during these times? What are you seeing in your office?
They can focus on the fact, as my mom used to say, the world doesn't stop. It continues to go. Real estate is still selling. This time right now has increased. For those of you who aren't sure, Google is my best friend. Google it. Google the real estate industry in Los Angeles, in other areas of the country or the world. Deals are still happening. Transactions are still happening. You, future agents, just need to know how to perform business in the middle of a pandemic. With that being said, today alone, there's about $28,000 worth of commission that I will be signing that are going out the door.
Meaning going to agents who've closed deals.
And they were smiling all the way with their masks to eat outside and have some lunch. Yes.
So this is definitely a lucrative career if you're focused, resilient, and want to make things happen.
And you gotta have passion for it.
Speaking of passion, where do you get your passion as a leader to want to help people? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to help people succeed?
It's a desire that I've had even from a child. And a lot of times, sometimes that's misunderstood. It takes more of a skill to be still in the middle of chaos, to be kind when someone's not unkind to you. The reason why I'm passionate is because I get results. Don't forget to be passionate to yourself though. In the midst of all this, you have to have self-care. And so I'm of service. That's anyone that knows me or gets to know me, I am of service.
Diane, thank you so much for being here with us. You've given our viewers, our subscribers, some incredible information. Where can they reach you so they can get their career started? If they have any questions regarding the crash course, if they have any questions regarding our school, California Realty Training, how we can help put them on track, where can they find you?
So this is basically you're saying the number will go out to everyone in the world. That would be 310-658-1720. And then of course, email would be dbrito@kw.com. And I do pick up my phone.
Thank you so much for your time. We highly appreciate it. Those of you who are watching out there, don't forget, Diane Brito, one of the best leaders here in Los Angeles. Give her a call, shoot her an email if you have any questions regarding your real estate career. Listen, what are you waiting for? Get started on it today. California Realty Training, always in your corner. We have your back. Listen, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and last but not least, what is it? What is it? That's right, hit that bell icon.